Hello, I'm Rob Elford with Gale Force Winds. It's a pleasure to be coming to you from the inaugural conference for Oceans Advance called Innovation Waves. There have been so many fabulous conversations taking place in this venue the last couple of days. It's been incredible. And as a Newfoundlander who was displaced for a few decades recently back home, it's amazing for me to see what's happening here right in my home. It's so good to be back.
You shouldn't be surprised. There's always been a lot of good technology and smart people here, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in carrying on with many of the great conversations I've been having, why don't you introduce yourself and tell me why you're here?
I'm Paul Mitten. I'm Vice President and co-owner of Compusult Limited. I've been with Compusult for most of its operations over the last 41 years. I've actually been in the IT industry for over 45 years myself, and at Compusult I tend to lead a lot of our R&D in areas of robotics, artificial intelligence and machine learning, assistive technology for persons with disabilities, asset tracking and inventory control, and geospatial applications, along with managing a lot of projects and contracts associated with those areas. So.
With all that's changing in the tech sector, I think especially AI and stuff, where is the biggest change in those areas that you're involved in? Where's the most change taking place, the most exciting change taking place?
Well, I think the most exciting change is that we're seeing a lot more demand, I think, in those technologies, but also in supplementing existing technologies to make them that much better, right? And to provide new capabilities and more responsiveness and better user experience in working with those technologies, right? Make it easier for people to work with these systems and to get more out of them at the end of the day, right? To benefit what they do in their day-to-day operations and their own personal experiences, right? So.
When you see the technology that's out there and you see the idea that's behind it, and you know there's an application there, something that gets you pretty fired up. Can you talk about the lay of the land that gives you confidence that you're going to see fruit come to bear here? I'm talking the ecosystem, political support. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Well, I mean, as I mentioned, Compusult's been around for almost 41 years, right? We have constantly had to innovate and extend our technology capabilities. We have to be very responsive to what our customers and clients want in terms of technology applications and enhancing what we provide to them in both our products and services. So, I mean, we are constantly keeping an eye on what's happening in the industry and other complementary areas so that we can apply those things to further innovate and to further stay ahead of the curve. We consider ourselves as bringing innovation to the world as sort of one of our taglines, right? And I mean, that is our focus, and we have a few areas that I mentioned already, especially geospatial information systems, incident command systems, where we've added new capabilities for the whole user experience, some machine learning and AI capabilities, enhanced 2D and 3D visualization, and so on. And we've also morphed that into where we were focusing primarily on big data management for aerospace and defense companies. We've found that there is a very, I wouldn't say new, but a broader application of our technology in the incident command system, emergency management system area. So we've been focusing a lot more on that, both for defense, as is where we work the most, but also in other sectors, first responders and emergency management personnel and departments. And we are currently delivering, based on our geospatial information system technology, Web Enterprise Suite, a new incident command system for the Canadian Coast Guard. And Coast Guard, interestingly, even though they weren't before, they're now coming under the Department of Defense, right? So they are migrating, similar to the United States, where Coast Guard is part of the defense infrastructure, right? So basically, we found an opportunity to build a solution that innovates upon what we already had, and we also have other markets for that and in other areas outside of defense too.
So you're probably quite familiar with NATO Diana.
Yes, we've made a couple of applications, Diana, unsuccessfully so far, but separate from that, we actually have had multiple contracts with NATO, both directly and through IBM as a tier one contractor to NATO.
Yeah. So talk to me more about, in an ideal world, about Diana and plugging into Diana and what they bring to bear for this particular ecosystem here.
Well, I think they've been very helpful because they've got a good funding program, or what I consider a relatively good funding program. I've talked to one or two Canadian firms that have actually benefited from being picked by Diana to have their technology developed, and at least in initial phase. And that's all been generally positive. It's good that they have, like I said, a significant cash contribution to the projects, and they're multi-phased. But what I would like to see, and I mentioned it earlier today, like I think there should be a Canada-Diana complement where the Canadian government could spend money on, for those Canadian technologies that don't make the Diana cut, they're probably still very good technologies that could benefit the whole Canadian defense ecosystem, and the Canadian government could point to it and say, hey, look, this is additional funding we're putting into not only defense but into NATO, right? So, and we're going to exploit the NATO sites at Cove and the launch here in Newfoundland and Labrador to basically take what Diana doesn't pick for their particular reasons, but basically build a better Canadian sovereign defense technology capability, right?
Yes.
So,
speaking of Canada and sovereignty issues, and with the geopolitical realities changing so much, some people around here have talked about cooling off to the U.S. market and focusing on European markets. Do you have any commentary on that?
Well, we know that it's much more difficult, especially in the past few years, to capture contracts with the same level and accessibility that we have been in the past. We've been doing defense contracts in the United States since 2001, or for 24 years. And one of our major customers, you know, they have initially with the Biden administration and doubled down by the latest Trump administration, the very heavy focus on Buy American, including which excludes not only what they call foreign nationals, which would be like us, for example, but also subsidiaries of foreign nationals from being able to bid on opportunities that previously were open to all these entities.
So that's
right?
huge.
It is huge because for us, the majority of our revenue since 1996 actually has been from the United States, right? And so we've had to focus a lot more heavily on domestic opportunities in Canada and other international opportunities where we've done work before, right? And we, like I said, we're working a lot with NATO, and that's dealing with European entities. We are focused on some parts of Asia, like Malaysia, Korea, Japan, Singapore, and we're expecting to pick up some work there in the next year to 2 years. And as I said, domestically, we've been very successful in picking up some significant new contracts with the Canadian Coast Guard, who I already mentioned, Defence Research and Development Canada, a couple contracts there, Natural Resources Canada, who we have actually a very long-term contractual relationship with, Elections Canada, and others. So, I mean, we've had to work hard, I'd say probably as hard as we did when we were originally getting off the ground, if not harder, to broaden our market scope and also, like I said, moving to other areas like emergency response and incident command systems outside of what we normally did in the aerospace, defense, and security sector. So,
how can organizations like Oceans Advance help you in your effort?
Because a lot of industry associations like Oceans Advance, they provide opportunities for gaining greater visibility to a much broader market, and also locally and domestically in Canada, right? Because, you know, when we get together at events like this, in Innovation Waves, it's a chance to reconnect with some of our local contacts here. And also, when talking about ourselves and them talking about their companies, we find potential opportunities for good synergies there, and even the possibility to maybe buy some products and services from the other companies. companies or collaborate in other projects. We've been working on, and we had an announcement here about an ocean supercluster project that we're working on with Visual Defense in Richmond, Ontario as the lead, us here on the East Coast, and Access Technologies on the West Coast in British Columbia. And these kind of events also open up potential opportunities for partnering with other organizations here in Newfoundland and Labrador or elsewhere. As I said earlier, these types of organizations like Oceans Advance help to promote your visibility and your capabilities to a much broader audience than you can do often on your own or with your own marketing personnel and our senior management. So it opens the eyes of others. It opens up potential opportunities, and we've talked to everybody here, from funding agencies to the potential business partners to potential customers and everything else, right? So it's that kind of venue and that kind of support you get from an organization like Oceans Advance, right?
Yeah.
So.
You said you've been doing this a long time, 45 years, right? You've been.
For me, in the industry, over 45 years.
You know what I love? You still got the fire in your belly, my brother.
Oh well, we still. There's still. I mean, like I say, one of the things about being a constant innovator is there's always new things that keep your interest and make you want to say, I really wish we could make this happen, or I really want to make this happen, because I see a clear and winning opportunity for this type of technology that we're working on. We just need to work hard. We need to make sure we understand how we can deliver something that is going to be attractive to our customer base, and whether new or existing, right? Building on our existing customer base is usually easier, and if we can offer those customers something new or improved or maybe an advancement technology that makes their experience, makes their operations better, then that makes us happy, right?
Indeed.
So.
Yeah. Thank you for your long-standing service to all of this. It's
thanks.
I really appreciate your passion, your ingenuity.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you too.
All right. All the very best.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.